If you think about it, the biggest secrets in history, military plans, political moves, success, has always come down to knowing something the other side doesn't.
That's right.
So intelligence, the whole art of finding and protecting secrets, it's arguably the oldest competition there is. And the stakes couldn't be higher.
Absolutely. I mean, as long as societies have existed, they've needed secret information just to survive. Today, we're going to trace that entire journey for you.
Where are we starting?
We'll start with the very physical tricks of the ancient world and go all the way up to the digital codes and satellite networks of today.
Okay, let's dive in. The story really begins with a simple problem for civilizations like the Greeks and Romans.
A huge problem.
How do you send a critical message across a huge, dangerous territory when your fastest option is basically a person on a horse?
They had to get incredibly creative. I mean, you couldn't hide the messenger,
Yeah.
so their first idea was to hide the message on the messenger.
Give us the most interesting and maybe the most uncomfortable example of that.
Well, that would have to be the shave head technique.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of just how far they would go.
Shaved head.
A general would literally write a message on the scalp of a trusted messenger, usually a slave. Then they just wait.
Wait for their hair to grow back.
Exactly, to completely cover the writing. Only then would they send the person on their journey.
Wow. So that messenger is walking for weeks, knowing that if they're caught, the secret is right there under their hair.
Shows you the stakes. Another clever trick was using wax tablets. You'd write a normal, boring letter on the wax surface.
Something about trading goods or whatever.
Right, but the real message was etched into the wood, right underneath that wax layer.
So the whole early game was about hiding the container. But then there was a major shift, right? People stopped trying to hide the message itself and started scrambling the language.
And that is the huge leap we call early cryptography. Instead of just fooling the eye, you're trying to fool the mind.
And the most famous example of that has to be Julius Caesar.
The Caesar cipher, yes. It was the first really widespread, systematic way to scramble military messages.
How did it work?
It was brilliant in its simplicity. The cipher just takes every letter in a message and shifts it a few places down the alphabet.
So if your secret key was, say, 3,
Then A would become D, B becomes E, and so on.
so a simple military command suddenly looks like total nonsense.
Complete gibberish, unless you knew that key number. It totally changed warfare. Caesar could coordinate troop movements across his entire empire, and a captured note was useless.
The enemy now had to figure out the math.
Exactly. And that's the birth of the constant battle between code makers and code breakers.
Okay, let's fast forward a couple thousand years to the American War for Independence. For George Washington, intelligence wasn't just helpful.
Oh, it was everything. He considered his intelligence network his single most vital asset against the British.
And a big part of that was the Culper Ring, working around New York City.
Right. And these weren't professional spies. They were everyday people, farmers, shopkeepers, and women were key because they could move through enemy lines without raising suspicion.
So what were their methods? It sounds like a mix of old and new.
It was. They used physical concealment, hiding notes in hollowed-out buttons or pieces of wood,
Classy.
but they also used advanced invisible ink and really complex code books that turned words into numbers.
It was incredibly high-stakes work. We have to remember people like Nathan Hale, who was caught and executed for it.
Absolutely. The intelligence from that network really did influence the outcome of the war. But as we move into the 19th century, things start to change.
It becomes less about individual brave spies and more about government.
Exactly. The shift to professionalization. Spying becomes an official government agency. Countries realized they needed permanent departments to track not just armies, but economic threats.
And technology starts to speed everything up.
The telegraph was a game changer. Suddenly, you could send intelligence across an ocean in minutes. The whole process had to get faster.
So the definition of a spy changed. It's not just an adventurer anymore.
No, it's a trained professional. A civil servant with language skills, trained in observation, who could blend into a society for years.
And this professional system gets put to the ultimate test in the world wars.
WWI introduces technology that completely transforms intelligence.
2 things, right? The airplane and the radio.
That's it. For the first time, pilots are flying over enemy lines, taking aerial photos of trenches. Commanders could actually see the whole battlefield.
A god's eye view.
And with radio, you have instant communication, but you also have instant interception. Which brings us to a huge moment, the Zimmerman telegram.
This was a secret coded message from Germany, right?
Sent to Mexico, but intercepted by British codebreakers in a secret unit called Room 40.
And what they found was just unbelievable.
It was. Germany was proposing a military alliance with Mexico, promising them U.S. territory if America joined the war.
When that got out, it pushed the U.S. right into the conflict.
It proved that breaking a code could be as powerful as winning a battle.
But the challenge in World War II was even greater. We're talking about the German Enigma code.
Enigma wasn't just a code. It was a machine, a complex electromechanical machine that encrypted messages, and the key changed every single day.
With billions of possible combinations, it was thought to be unbreakable.
To beat it, the British gathered the absolute brightest minds at a secret site called Bletchley Park.
Mathematicians, linguists, everyone.
And their leader, Alan Turing, realized you couldn't beat a fast machine with just brainpower. You needed a faster machine.
So they built their own?
They did. They were called bombs. Not computers like we think of them, but huge machines designed just to check thousands of Enigma settings per hour.
The pressure on them must have been incredible.
Unimaginable. But their success was phenomenal. By reading German messages, the Allies could track their U-boats in the Atlantic. It's estimated their work shortened the war by at least 2 years.
And laid the foundation for modern computers.
The entire foundation, yes. Which leads us into the Cold War, where intelligence becomes this permanent, massive, global operation.
After the surprise of Pearl Harbor, the U.S. knew it needed a dedicated agency.
Right. And in 1947, President Truman created the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. Its mission was to figure out what our rivals, especially the Soviet Union, were planning.
And this is really the golden age of spy gadgets, the stuff you see in movies.
It absolutely was. We're talking miniature cameras hidden inside a coat button or a tobacco pipe, tiny microphones hidden in the walls of an embassy.
What about the high-tech stuff?
You had the U-2 spy planes taking crystal clear photos from the very edge of space.
And on the ground, agents were still using old-school tradecraft.
Things like dead drops, a secret spot, maybe a loose brick in a wall, to leave a message for your handler without ever meeting them face to face. It was incredibly risky.
So we've gone from writing on a scalp to satellites. But even with all this tech, humans are still a huge part of it.
They are. Today, we really split intelligence into two main types. The first is human intelligence or human feel.
The classic stuff, getting information directly from people.
Exactly. Through conversations, observation. And it's still vital because a person on the ground can tell you why something is happening. The motivation. A satellite can't do that.
And the other type is signals intelligence, SIGINT.
Yes, and this is the massive one today. Electronic monitoring, the internet, satellites, radio signals. Agencies like the NSA use supercomputers to filter billions of data points every day.
What are they looking for?
Patterns, code words, anything that suggests a threat is developing.
And you mentioned satellites. The pictures they can take now are just amazing.
We're talking clear enough to see markings on a vehicle from orbit. And they don't just see light, they see heat.
So they can detect a hidden missile launch.
Or a secret facility.
Yeah.
It's much, much harder for any country to prepare for war in total secret now.
Which brings us to the future. The new battlefield seems to be almost entirely digital. Cyber warfare.
That's the frontier. It's less about gadgets and shoes and more about protecting digital infrastructure.
What does that mean exactly?
It means using code to disrupt a country's essential systems. The power grid, banking, water supplies. The modern spy often works behind a keyboard.
And the sheer amount of data from SIGINT must be impossible for humans to sort through alone.
It is, and that's where artificial intelligence, or AI, is coming in.
To find the needle in the haystack.
Precisely. AI is being developed to sort through all that noise, find hidden links, and help analysts predict threats before they even happen.
So the lesson is that protecting a country's digital secrets is now just as important as protecting its physical borders. The whole game just keeps evolving.
And that's the core idea that connects everything. From the shaved head messenger to the satellite network, as long as secrets have value, people will keep inventing new ways to find them. It's a constant race between mind and technology.
Good luck with your studies, and remember to always think critically about the difference between information and true, reliable intelligence.